state of mind and growth phase. Like these companies and the individuals behind like these different software programs, the coders, like their minds are constantly going, they're constantly working to improve, they're constantly trying to fix the next problem. And honestly, like some of us, we're able to use the software for free. And the reality is that it's not so much that they're just a nice person and they want to help your business grow, but they're using you as data points. Like you're the guinea pig, right? And so they're taking those data points and they're using them to perfect their software and to make it even better, right? Or as they see, even better. And in some cases, maybe they found that they're offering too much and it makes the process too complex for some users. And so, like some of the, like I found, even with some programs, some of the things that were available or some of the output that I was getting before is scaled back a little bit, right? And again, I had to remind myself that perhaps as they're collecting all these different data points, again, they're not just creating the software for my demographic, for someone like me, that it is in a state of continuous improvement and wanting to constantly learn, who's fascinated by the software, but they have such a wide, vast majority that they're trying to capture and tailor and make the software user friendly for. And I was reminded by that by like even my vehicle, right? Because I remember, when I bought it and just saw, like I was at the dealership getting, like just a regular, I almost said checkup, like it's my baby, but he was getting just a regular like oil change and what have you. And so always like while I'm waiting in the lobby, usually I end up having them like bring me home or getting a shuttle or what have you. But I usually end up having some time to kind of just cool out at the dealership so I can kind of see what they have on the horizon, kind of what's going on or what they're talking about for like new releases. So I actually got to see a newer version of the vehicle. And I was talking to one of the sales ladies and I could not believe it's almost like they've taken steps back. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? But I realized the reality of it is the demographic that one is able to afford that particular vehicle that's most likely to purchase that particular vehicle, they are an older generation because they have the excess of resources to be able to spend, that the amount of money required for that particular vehicle. And so that's who they're catering to. And that's who they're trying to tailor like the attributes of it to and like the usefulness and ease of use of managing through, like if you're changing from your like your radio to your, using your phone and things like that. Like they went from like three screens. Like I have three screens. Like it's almost like three tablets. Like two tablets and one mini like screen. Like the two are touch screen. Okay, in my vehicle. So I love it, right? Because my age, my generation, like my laptop's touch screen. I'm usually with my laptop, my tablet. In my office, I have two additional screens. So, like on any given day, if I'm down in my office, I'm actually working off of like four screens oftentimes. And so, to me, like to be driving, operating off of three screens is normal, right? It's not a huge deal. And pizzas, like the car, like has the ability, like to have an internet subscription, which is cool for like longer trips. Like if you have, like if your spouse is with you or even a family member or friend, and let's say they're driving and you have some work to get done, like you can literally connect to the car's internet or Wi-Fi and you can bang out like your work. Like it's like you're sitting in your car is your office, right? And so um I realized, in that quick second, okay, for the late 50, 60-year old who is kind of the demographic, or you're like 40 some year olds that are usually like entrepreneurs that are doing really well, that have the excess resources to purchase um in this vehicle class. Like, again, they have different wants, right? But again, they're going to go toward favoring the majority, which again is kind of that older demographic for whom operating through screens may be a bit overwhelming for them. Like, one of the things I love, like on my steering wheel, is like with the volume, like I literally can move my finger in a circle one way to increase the volume, the opposite way to move it down. I noticed like with the newer version, like they've reverted back and they put like the little thumb wheels, right? Again, it just seems so like early 2000s to me. And I was kind of laughing with the the salesperson, but I realized, yeah, for that late 50 early 60-year-old person, that feels more comfortable to them, right? So the ease of use of it is there. But again, back to like, are you coachable? um I think like just ask yourself, right, these things, like if you do, some self inventory, like, are you open minded? Usually, coachable individuals are open to new ideas, even if they challenge their current beliefs. Are you an active listener? Coachable people listen more than they speak, absorbing what others are saying without getting defensive. Do you have humility? A coachable person is willing to admit mistakes and weaknesses, seeing them as opportunities for growth. Are you someone that takes action? They don't just talk the talk, they walk the walk. Coachable people take the advice that they receive and apply it in tangible ways. And are you resilient? They handle criticism and setbacks with grace, using them as motivation to improve. And I think those are all key. Again, understanding that, like, the advice or the exposure, right, to things that maybe you need to learn or things that become more efficient, it might not come from the expert that you may, think it should come from. It could come from somebody in a different generation, a younger generation that perhaps maybe deals with technology a lot more, and they're able to expose you to something that can help you bring about greater efficiencies within your organization, right? Now, again, the benefits, I touched on this on in the open. Some of the benefits of being coachable are accelerated growth. Now, being open to learning means that you're constantly improving. This leads to faster personal and business growth. An expanded perspective. Seeking guidance exposes you to new perspectives and ideas that you might not have considered otherwise. And it helps with building relationships. Now, this is key. Now, your willingness to listen and learn fosters stronger connections with mentors, peers, and employees. I'm telling you, as an entrepreneur, especially as a female entrepreneur, like, you need people to put you on, especially like, let's say you're in a new area or you're looking to expand like your business network in a different area. Like, depending on how coachable you are and even approachable and just like a nice person that seems to have it together, who's just open, like, you might meet the right person and you guys just click, you just vibe, and before you know it, they're inviting you to another like networking opportunity. They're expanding your horizons, they're expanding your network, right? And they'll saying your network is your net worth, right? And so that relationship can be formed just based upon you being a coachable person. It also, another benefit of being coachable is problem solving. Coachable individuals are adept problem solvers. They can adapt to the changing circumstances and find solutions more effectively, right? Not to mention, now you've built those relationships. So when you do start to run into like some issues or concerns, or let's say you're helping a client with a particular situation, like now you have a network of individuals that, again, they may know a little bit more, have more expertise in a particular area than you, and you can pick up the phone or you can hop on a quick Zoom call with them and get, like some dialogue going that helps you come to a solution for, that client or what have you. So that is, that's awesome. Now, sometimes, again, some of us through our journey, like if we've had success in one area, again, I always talk about like the transition from the corporate to entrepreneurship, right? So there might be individuals who had awesome careers in corporate America, and now they've transitioned into entrepreneurship where they're on their own, they're starting their own business, they're a fish out of water, they're learning this world, and they're having to navigate through the waters where you're wearing every hat, right? In some respects, it can be, I won't say easy, but it could be easier, again, in that old world of corporate where usually things are a lot more segmented out, right? Like if you're a marketing director or VP of marketing, like that is your focus. Like you're not having to take on some of the responsibilities that the CFO has on their shoulders. Like you're not worried about the accounts payable and accounts receivable per se. You're not worried about like necessarily like the recruiting and the strategy behind that your HR department's managing, or or the strategy behind like the compensation and things of that nature. Like you're able to focus and get creative around like your function, your marketing function, right? When you go out on your own and you're in business for yourself, at least initially when you're that solopreneur, you wear every hat. You're everything. You are everything from HR to accounts payable and receivable. You are the marketing manager and director. You're the sales director as well. You're everything, right? And so you definitely have to be open to adapt to changes, and have some openness around your mindset as you enter into these uncharted waters. Now, some things that you can do, or some strategies that you can work on to make sure that you're cultivating a coachable like mindset, are to begin to seek feedback. Regularly ask for feedback from mentors, peers, and employees, and make sure that you create a culture where constructive criticism is valued. Also, set goals. Now, clearly define your goals and share them with someone that you trust. They can help hold you accountable and provide guidance. And again, that can be hard, right? It can be difficult to hear that you're not hitting it out the park, or that you're making some missteps, or you have some growth areas. But one of the things that I try to remind myself of is that, or a question I'll ask myself when I begin to like maybe feel down or discouraged, or even a little beat up, is, would I rather get this feedback and see growth in a few weeks from now, or like in 2 weeks from now, or a month from now? Do I still want to be in the same position? Do I still want to be struggling to like get clients, or do I want the feedback so that I can make the necessary adjustments and changes like in my organization, or learn the necessary skills and get the necessary resources so that I have a different outcome where I do have more clients, right? I can tell you it's nothing worse than like as a coach and a leader to talk to someone, like you can pick it up very easily, right? And as an entrepreneur, as that business owner, you begin to segment out that client base. And there's a point that you get to where you begin to realize you can't be someone that just chases the dollar. And again, for your own mental health and sanity, you are going to have to become a little bit more selective on who you take on as clients, because it could ruin you. Like someone else could stress you out, right? They could, again, there is such a thing as transference of energy. And so when you see that someone is not coachable, and they're asking you to coach them, and every time you give a suggestion, they always have, like something to come back with, and they're not really listening or hearing, you know what? It may be better to let them go and let them develop. Like sometimes they need to go through those hard knocks so that they can come back and then be in a coachable mindset. And then you guys are going to be able to make some magic happen. Okay. Another strategy that you can use to make yourself readily available to be coachable is to learn continuously. Like continuous learning is key. Invest in your personal and professional development, attend workshops, make sure you read books or use Audible, and stay curious, like always look for, growing yourself and expanding your mind. And hopefully you have people around you that have that same mindset. Like hopefully if you are married or with a spouse, like hopefully that's something that you guys can do together, or that you guys kind of champion or cheer each other on about, like there's nothing better than that. Um, and practice reflection, like take time to reflect on your actions, your decisions, and your outcomes. Like, what did you learn and what could you do better next time? Now, journaling is a key thing, like we were talking about Monday, and it made me realize, you know what? I don't journal. I write down like my tasks. Like I'll have a few pages worth of tasks that I need to get through for the week. But something that I need to start implementing, that a couple of the ladies shared that they do, is they actually journal at night before they get ready to go to bed. And that is something that I need to do. Like, I really need to do that. First of all, I need to make sure that I'm in a position to go to bed, because unfortunately, sometimes I end up in and out of sleep up till 3, 4 in the morning. But I'm going to stop that. I am I am definitely intentional about stopping that. So I think that actually it probably would help me to implement the journaling. And I'll come back and share with you guys that journey. So definitely, like as we go on to this next week, that is something that I'm going to be intentional about. Is like sitting down at the end of the night before I get ready to turn in and just writing down my thoughts of what occurred through the day, what went well, what I'd like to work on, where maybe I had some success, and then maybe where I need to seek out some help. But yeah, that's definitely one for me that I have to make sure that I continue to do. So I'm telling you guys, there's nothing, if you're someone that's not in a state where you're coachable, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. But again, just kind of reassess, assess yourself, and really kind of assess where you are. It's something that we'll continuously grow at, we'll continuously strive to get better at, but it's doable, and it's just going to make your life easier. You're going to look up like months from now and you're going to be like, wow, I can't even believe that I accomplished the things that I accomplished. But again, this is another segment from Lamborghini C. Have a good day.